So this is my first captured video of the year with you guys, and what you may notice is last year I had a white piece of poster board just like this, and I had my 12 by 12 template from the Design A page protectors drawn. I had two side by side. Now what I've done this year is I have switched sizes. I have switched to a 9 by 12. In addition to that, instead of going weekly, I've just been popping in whatever I want whenever I want, and I love the idea of it greatly. I'm still trying to work my way into not having a like Monday to Sunday bookend for my spreads, so that's a little tricky for me. Because I'm still adjusting to the newness of what I've tackled this year, I'm very far behind. And it's not a wonderful feeling, but it's not something that I'm really stressing about a lot, because as I've been going, I have been printing out my photos, and I have been putting them in the page protectors. And so worst case scenario, my photos are printed. It's just that I have to add my journaling in. So everything's there. It just needs to be assembled. So I'm not really too worried. It'll happen. It's not a big deal. But like I said, I love the 9 by 12 size. So when I do two spreads together, what happens is I trim my page protector. I trim the right hand side off. So on the 12 by 12 page protector, this is actually a 4 by 6. This is an additional 3 by 4, and then this is another 4 by 6. I was initially worried because I take a lot of horizontally oriented photos, because I would be losing two of those 4 by 6 spots. But what I've done to make up for that is I've been adding different sized inserts. So I may have an insert from a smaller album like a Studio Calico handbook, or a Snap album, or a Basic Gray album, one of those smaller 6 by 8 page protectors, or I use some of the Becky Higgins 6 by 12 in there. So when I have too many 4 by 6s, I just fit them in with a little smaller size insert, and I love that layering. You want to turn the page because you can see the next one behind it, and I really like that. But so the one that I'm working on today is actually 6 by 12 on the left side and a 9 by 12 on this side. So I'm going to be ignoring these pockets on my template just because this side is the back of a smaller insert. So I'm just going to get started and just kind of lay my stuff out that I've pulled. So again, I think I'm dealing with February 16, 17, 18, 19. There's like about 3 or 4 days in here. So I'm just going to start pulling some things. Now I have a photo with a lot of space on the right. My go-to for things like that is tags. Normally I will just have a bit of the tag, but for this one I think I'm going to do the whole tag. It kind of echoes the height of the Django tower, so that's going to kind of work. And then I also wanted to pull in some wood because the tower is wood, so I have a small button, wooden button from the new Studio Calico stuff. And then in addition to that, I have a vellum piece from a Crate Boys Rule pack, and it's all full of little vellum pieces, which are really neat. So I'm going to use this date one, and I'll probably do some letter stickers for in the date. Now because I am so far behind, my approach is quick. So I'm not going to do as much embellishing as I normally have done in the past. So we're just going to go through this quickly. So that one's pretty much ready to go. I'll do my journaling in there, some enamel dots probably, and stuff like that. So for this one, this is just a photo of some of my son's Lego figures, and I'm going to put a label in the top right corner. But if you've watched any of my videos at all, you know I don't like to just stick it down because I'm very indecisive, I guess, maybe is the right word. So I'm going to stick it on a piece of paper and just curl it back a bit so I can trim it. This is the October afternoon. I think it's from Travel Girl. And so now I have a label that I can move around till I'm happy. And then I'm going to add a cork camera from Studio Calico's Essential line. And that's going to be pretty much it for that. I'll do a little bit of journaling on there. And this one, because I have a lot of 3x4 photos, for the most part, I'm just going to leave those alone. Like I said, I need to be quick. I want to catch up, and there's nothing wrong with simple in my book. So for this next one, I had a no photo for what I wanted to do. We had a day off of school, and so I wanted to do something for that, but I didn't have a photo, so I thought I would just do a little blurb of journaling. And in the October afternoon milk money, I think my favorite embellishment, I mean, other than wood vinegar and enamel dots probably, are the little die cuts. Not the big ones, but the little ones. They're just absolutely perfect. So this is from the October afternoon milk money kit, and we don't have recess. My boys are homeschooled and my daughter's in high school, so recess doesn't really exist for us. But I figured that would be close enough. That would work for a day off of school. So what I did was I had a 3x4 card. I just trimmed from just normal cardstock, just simple, cheap stuff. And I typed out my journaling, but what I did ahead of time was I placed my die cut where I thought I would want it, and I just traced around the edge. So that when I ran it through my sewing machine, I knew where to start my journaling. So I'm just going to go ahead and erase that. And I want to add a little bit of something on the top just to kind of anchor that embellishment. So I came across this print from Studio Calico, Wanderlust, I believe, and I have it in a 12x12 too, but I chose to go from the 6x6 pad because then it's a smaller scale print of the original, and I can fit more of these little icons on, which I kind of thought were kind of schoolish. So I'm going to trim the bottom because I don't like straight edges, and I'm just going to figure out how deep I want it to go. Now it is a very busy print, so what I might do, because I don't want my die cut to kind of blend in, is I may use a pop dot. I'm not sure how much of a difference that's going to make once it's in a page protector, but I may, just to say that I tried. So I'm just going to trim that off. And for now, I'm just going to tack it down just temporarily. And I'm going to sew that paper down, and then hopefully I'll remember. I may forget and just totally stitch through, and that's okay too. And I'll add the date at the bottom yet. And then I have another photo that's just going to be alone, but I have an empty pocket beside it. So I was trying to find something either maybe rainbow color, because this is the all my mists on the wall in rainbow order. But while I was looking, I came across these journaling cards from Studio Calico, which I will have purchased and just kind of totally forgot about. But they're just little vellum die cut cards, which you could do on your Cameo, but this is just way easier for me. And so this quote is, "Find something you're passionate about and keep tremendously interested." So I figured, well, that kind of worked with my kind of crafting hobby, so I would put that beside that. And then in this pocket I have a text from my daughter. I did a blog post recently. I use Lightroom 4, and I believe in the newer versions this isn't an issue, but with Lightroom 4 and under, any screenshots I take don't go into Lightroom with my photos. I guess they're a ping file, they just don't go in. So to get around that, I use the Pick-Tap-Go app, and I'm assuming this works in other apps as well, but I'll take my screenshot and I'll put it into Pick-Tap-Go, and I will just resave it. And then for some reason they go right into Lightroom with everything else. So I've been doing Project Life now for, what, almost 4 years, and I've been using Lightroom for probably a year and a half, 2 years. So this is like huge, because for the last year or so I haven't really been able to easily include screenshots. So I'm super pumped about that. So that is a screenshot of a text that my daughter sent me just randomly during her day, telling me that her goal in life was to open a restaurant called Hannibal's. So yeah, it's odd, but you know, that's something I want to remember. So I dug through my box of scraps. A lot of times when I'm filling the smaller cards, I like to just go through my scraps, and I found this little print. It'll be from a Dear Lizzie collection, and it's just little tiny pink stars. So I'm just going to use that for no reason other than I just like the pink stars. And I'm going to trim this little label from Ellie's Studio. It just says Life Documented. And when I'm using pink, I often like to throw in gray or green. Those are just my favorite colors to use when I'm using pink. So I'm just going to trim that off, and I'll probably just layer that somewhere. And then I also have a little text that I typed out. So I'm just going to kind of work that into a little cluster. And I think I like it lower down at the bottom. So probably what I'll do is I'll add some enamel dots later down the road after I do my sewing. So I'll just tack these down. Okay. Now for the bottom pocket on this side, I just have a calendar that I ripped off of my little calendar I have in my office. And that's just going to sit there. I debated about whether backing it with a 4x6 piece of pattern paper, but I think I'm just going to leave it. I don't want it to turn into a big embellishment. I just want it to be a piece of memorabilia. So I'm just going to leave that. And then I have another photo and one last journaling card. Like I said, this was like the 16th to 19th or so. I actually didn't take any journaling notes that week, other than I noted that there was a school day. And my when I rearrange and assign pockets for my photos, I generally keep working ahead, and I try to leave about 2 to 3 empty pockets per page, just because one of my goals this year was to add more accent cards. Last year it was like journaling and photos in every single pocket, which was fine, but I've been really inspired by the spreads that I see that take more time to include just pockets that are not necessarily really memory related. They're just pretty. This pocket was empty in my spread, and I couldn't really find anything that I wanted to really use this week that, you know, kind of would tie in any way with what I'm doing. So I have a white card, and I have a little, it's a little joystick die cut from, again, the Crate Paper Boys Rule line. So it's in a pack that just comes with tons and tons of little kind of boy-themed pieces. So I have a picture of my son on the iPad, and if he's on the iPad, he's playing a game, so that'll work. And then I have a little crate, a capture, a little label from Basic Gray. I have a hard time working with the geometric, so I thought what I would do is I would put it behind, and this side of the page protector has pockets that are accessible from the front, so it's going to stick past this card and not be an issue. So I'm going to do that. And because I didn't take any notes, what I want to do is I want to get my son to write down a list of his favorite apps and games. And as much as I hate to admit it, technology is a really big part of our lives, but so I want to record that in a way. So I'm going to get him to tackle that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew everything down and add my journaling. And then I'll come back and add some final embellishments. Okay, so I have all my sewing done, and I couldn't find any small enough sticker set that had numbers on it. So I just stamped the date on with the vellum and sewed down my button. I added some journaling, and I've curled up most of my edges of things. I added some journaling onto this photo in this white space here. I remembered to raise that with a pop dot. And I forgot I wanted a title on this card, so I added a title with the basic gray capture, the little alphabets. I used the black one for that one and then attached the sticker with the tiny attacher. So, so this is ready to go. I'm going to get him to add his journaling later. And all I wanted to add was some enamel dots and anything that maybe wouldn't work over top of stitching. So I just pulled some of my newest ones are the October Afternoon. I was wanting to find a little heart to put in that camera, and I think that these hearts are going to be a bit too large. Yep, okay. And so I'll leave that. I do have a set that has small hearts, but I can't find it right now, so I may head back to my little basic gray stars and use those. And then clean up my room. Okay, so I'm going to add that one in there. And then, let's see, I'm going to add, I think, a blue one here. Most of my enamel dots are from my Mind's Eye. What I like about those is you get a great variety of sizes. I do have some freckled fawn ones and Studio Calico ones and stuff like that as well. But I like to mix up my sizes a lot. So I'm going to do some there, and I think I'm going to add some here, and that will be about it. So I'm going to see if I can get some pink in here or some red. That would be close. Okay, so here's a pink, and just to be different, I'm going to add a splash of lime. It probably will tie that in a bit, so that would be nice. So I'm going to add a big one here, and then a little pink one there. Okay, so other than my son's journaling, which I'll add and you'll see in the final photo, I think that this is good for now. Now all I have to do is keep up this pace with the whole rest of the year and we'll be in good shape. But anyway, thanks for watching the video, and be sure to visit Two Peas in a Bucket for more ideas and inspiration.